The State of Israel held its 23rd general election on the 2nd of March 2020. This was Israel's third election in a single year, following two hung Knessets in which neither acting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu nor opposition leader Benny Gantz received a majority of support from the parties. In order to gain the upper hand, the parties formed even more complicated joint tickets. In a historic act, the Social Democrats of Labor Gesher merged with the Democratic Socialists of Meretz. This left only 8 major parties, the fewest in Israeli history. Just before the election was called, Netanyahu had been indicted in 3 of the 4 cases for which he had been under investigation. However, this seemed not to hurt the Likud in the polls, and in fact Netanyahu began campaigning on a promise to make a new law immunizing himself from prosecution. Then, US President Donald Trump and his son-in-law Jared Kushner announced a draft for an Israeli-Palestinian peace plan. This was widely suspected of having been timed to aid Netanyahu's electoral prospects, but it too had little effect on opinion polls. And here are the results. In a surprise jump in the polls, the Likud came in first place with 36 seats, followed by Blue and White with 33, the Joint List with 15, and Shas with 9. All other parties received a combined total of 27 seats. Although the Likud had won the most seats, Yisrael Beitenu and the Joint List appeared ready to bury their grievances and supported Gantz, giving him the much-needed majority to become Prime Minister. But then, things got weird. First, 2 members of Gantz's own Blue and White, Yoaz Hendel and Zvi Hauser, refused to be part of any government that was dependent on the confidence of the Joint List and left the party to form their own faction called Derech Eretz. The same thing happened on the left, with Orly Levi's Gesher leaving and ultimately breaking up the alliance. At the same time all of this was going on, the COVID-19 pandemic had reached Israel. People were already in quarantine by election day, but now the crisis was spiraling out of control. Concluding that a national unity government was necessary to end the crisis, Benny Gantz had formed a secret deal with the Likud. This infuriated his allies in Yesh Atid and Telem, who refused to take part in the agreement and broke away. Under the agreement, Blue and White would take control over most of the cabinet while Netanyahu would keep the title of Prime Minister for 18 months, before turning the position over to Gantz. Their government was joined by Shas, United Torah Judaism, Derech Eretz, Gesher, the Jewish Home, and Labor, except for Merav Michaeli, who remained in the opposition.